instructions on what we're supposed to do tonight. So instead of giving you an overview or telling you about Canada or anything, I'm gonna do a puppet performance, which is probably a little bit off the page, but maybe later I can do a proper introduction or something.
No, actually the rules are do whatever you do to tell about yourself. So.
Okay. All right. So I'll give a little bit of context, and probably not enough, but anyway. So I'm a PhD student at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, doing my degree in cultural studies, and I'm working at the intersections between disability studies, cultural studies. I'm a visual artist, multimedia artist, and I'm here in Ann Arbor doing a bit of autoethnographic research, which means I'm sort of exploring how it is to travel around because I have new mobility changes. So I used to be an ambulatory person, a person who walks easily, and now I call myself slow-moving roller. So I'm learning about it, I'm just trying to figure out what, I'm doing work around the difference that has made in my life and trying to understand what that is, because since I've gone into the mobility scooter, which is 2 years now, I kept having these experiences of feeling completely outside of my community. So that's part of the reason I'm doing the work that I'm doing. And what it turns out that a lot of the work I'm doing is in disability culture, and I'm here auditing a class, or I'm a visitor in a class called Disability Culture, taught by Petra Kuppers, and so I'm learning a little bit about that, as well as developing my own work here. And when I leave, I should have a project to present and show. And so the work I'm going to show today is the beginnings of some of that work. And it includes also animation, which Adele has been helping me with. And so we've been doing a little bit of exchange. She's helping me with the physical labor of setting up, and then also she's doing the animation, and I'm bringing the drawings and the technology or whatever that it is that we're using. So we have a little 1 minute and 14-second video to show you, which is the visuals are more or less done for this section. The audio is not complete, so there's just a little bit of audio at the beginning, which has got to be totally fixed. But I'm leaving it in because it gives a little bit of anchoring to the piece. And then I'll give you some more instructions after we see that.
What does it mean when the crescent moon on your fingernail disappears?
So that's our start. I want to ask if anybody looked at their fingernails. Nobody? Okay. So I have lots of questions, and my art practice is sort of develops around the questions I have. And so that's just one of the little questions, and then I create stuff around that. Those. So now I would like to show you another piece that I'm working on, which is totally experimental, and I hope you'll be really generous with me because it's new, and you were saying how people in
What's the matter?
where you went to school dressed however they wanted, and they were kind of like didn't care. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I present like that. Yeah, so we're going to move the projector out of the way, and I'm going to ask if everybody can come and sit on the floor. I'm going to set up right in front of the screen, and there's some blankets.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. There's a flash. It's okay.
No, it's okay. I just picked up a chop. I don't know how you just up there.
How's She wants to sleep.
What people who wear shoes easy to take off.
Well, I don't know if it's smart though.
So thank you for indulging me and letting me play with my puppets and for watching. It's new work. You're the first people, well, I've shown this once, the first half, and now I've been developing it a little bit, but it's got a long way to go still. So,
can you tell us something about the message?
I can tell you a little bit about what I'm doing. Feeling off balance and out of place, and using the puppets as a way to engage a different ability, a different way of talking. And so I wanted to sort of speak to my embodiment, like I set up here, but I have my walker, and so all of these things are like, this is present, and everything I'm doing is stuff I can do. Like if I had to stand up and do marionettes, I couldn't do that. So I'm developing, all the things I'm doing are things I can do. So the puppets speak to that in their physicality and how I've made them. And also their embodiment I find is really intriguing. So as I make them, they sort of teach me a little bit about what they need. I don't have narrative in it, really. It's just about the movements, and so far. So I'm interested in knowing a little bit about how it presents and how it looks, and if people feel like they're watching the puppets, or if they're making, or if they're, if you're just like, what? But, which is fun too.
Why do you use 3 agents?
Pardon me?
Why do you use 3 puppets in the materials?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess because I made 3 puppets. I made 3 puppets since I've been here, and I'm trying to incorporate them together, so into something. And but it complicates things because I only have 2 hands, so then I have to make a hat to manage the 3rd puppet. But then I can't actually manage 2 puppets really after that. So then I thought, maybe I tried that on, but that didn't work. But well, yeah, I don't have a good answer.
Do the colors of the puppets mean something? The fabric you use?
No, they don't have any special meanings except that I used to be a quilter, so I have quilted fabrics, and so that's part of my history and background of creativity has to do with quilting. So that they come from that.
But like puppets missing a arm or something.
Yeah. So yeah, so they don't move like normal, like whatever normal is. And they can also like sort of transform, like I think. So they can have sort of like an animal like movement quality or something, but also like one of my friends thought they kind of look like organs at some point. And so I think that's kind of interesting that they have this potential for morphing.
I thought you had tied that onto your arm because it's from your arm.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. See, that's the kind of thing that if people speak to me about what they thought, I can kind of play with that a little bit and emphasize that. So that's interesting.
And was the first one like a bird like? Like the other one, like something that was like,
Yeah.
like the other one was like legs.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's just 3.
The other one that makes sound.
Yeah. I'm interested in developing the sound of them.
What do you mean by you don't know your life?
I'm just being provocative to say that.
I mean, philosophers don't talk about this.
Sure. It's, you know, all through philosophy, it's how am I, you know, how everybody's trying to figure out, you know, what it is to be alive, what we are, why we're here, what that means. Yeah. So it's playing on that.
Is this exercise bringing you closer?
What's that?
Is this exercise bringing you closer to the answer? Like,
Yeah, no, the answer is no. You know, to be able to be creating things and making and trying to. I don't have answers. I don't know. You know, stuff is hard. Things get hard. Everybody has hard times. Things can be kind of brutal at times, really rough. Maybe when you think you can't figure out how to fit in or how to get by. And so I think art can just like give some relief to that and give another narrative, give another story, let you be somehow connected differently with people.
How are you linking that to the fact that you don't know you're alive?
That's such a hard question. I knew I was in trouble when the first presentation started. Like, oh no. Because like everything changed. Like I was just like, everything's different now. Like every relationship I have, everything I go, inside I feel just so different than
Different from?
before. When I could just go and come and go and everything was like when I didn't have to think about every step. Now mobility is like each step is like filled with a different kind of mobility, which is the mobility of thought somehow. Because I have to pay it's slow and I have to pay more attention, and so I'm making that trying to make that more like a pleasure and not just a pain. And stuff like that. And I really want to do the artwork, so I want to expand that and get to that work, because a lot of the stuff I've been doing for my research is reading and writing and stuff, and that's reading and writing about what I'm going to make, which isn't very, I just have to get to the work, so that's what was great with Adele and I were doing some of that.
Yeah, well, if I might say, I think you were expressing so much more than if you would have given a big lecture, and I could feel so much emotion going on. I really liked it.
Oh, thank you. Oh, great. Thanks. Yeah, it's hard for me to, I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. What's going on, but.
And one thing struck me, that it was interesting how they were moving, but I thought in the end that, well, not even in the end, partway through, that this was more about exploration and seeing yourself and being in relationship with others. And I wondered whether that was part of your intention. Because I mean, for me, aliveness is a lot about curiosity and exploration and being in relationship.
So at the end, I could put something else, maybe not. You don't. Maybe I could put something else at the end, because I have some more letters. I could put something nicer, like an inspirational message at the end. I didn't want to do that.
Well, how about just put HMMM and a question mark?
I like being I like to say that, it seems like authoritative. You don't. A little bit provocative, and everybody's going to go, what? Of course we're alive. Of course we're alive. What are you talking about? So, yeah.
I don't know what everybody was watching, but there was like, I think people were witnessing other stories unfold, or people were imagining something happening, and maybe, I don't know whether that was an intention
It's
to
absolutely.
let people interpret different things, or maybe if you put a narrative to it, as Anna pointed out, I don't know. I want to see what other people thought when they were watching it. What story was unfolding in your mind when you saw it, for example? What was really happening?
That's exactly part of my intention, is that anybody watching can hopefully engage in some way, and there's stuff you try to figure out, what are we doing here, what's the story, what's that puppet, and then maybe something starts happening for you. Did something happen for you?
I had some story going.
What's your story? Yeah, what's your story?
Be careful what you say. Schizophrenia is on watch.
The last time when I did that, there's at the beginning, when like the very first time is in the disability class, so the audience is much more prepared and they have more of a context and an understanding of what my work is. So in a way, because we don't know each other that well yet, and I was feeling a little bit like that was too soon, but that idea of just letting the mind go and playing and getting engaged with these little things and their movements and their tactile, their materiality, and how that, and for me as the person's managing them, they resist me. They don't do what I want them to do necessarily. You know, I can get a little bit better, hopefully over time, but they still tell me what they want in a way that's intriguing for me.
Yeah, at least I know the answer is struck. I don't.
How dare you tell me? Yeah.
Why should you, just a philosophical question, why do you want to judge upon the statement?
What's that?
So if you're alive, yes or no, why do you want to judge on that?
Why do I want to judge on that?
Decide.
Why do you want to decide on that question and don't leave it open?
Well, I don't really want to. So, I have to have an ending, like sort of like finish, and I'm trying to work this out, and that's what I came up with today.
Okay, no, good.
So nothing, like this is process and in process and very new, and so, you know, I had other, I could just stop.
You can say interesting question. No, I like the idea of rearranging the letters. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have like interesting question or some other open-end thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a very personal thing to answer this question.
I could see a series of these using the same technique, or either posing a question or having something. I think it's a very clever
Oh, maybe some
use
chapters.
of materials. Well, maybe not even the same exact story or anything, different puppets. I mean, but I mean, I think it's a very interesting way of incorporating words into presentation.
I had the idea of using an overhead projector in the morning with you as do you have an overhead projector? Putting the letters on there one at a time and doing it on that, and then I changed my mind an hour and a half later and decided on this instead. Because technology, like the way, like everything's slideshows and presentations like that, so, which are great. I thought they were really fantastic, the presentations, and they were really, really great. But
It felt really appropriate.
So you still don't really know anything about me, but I agree, obviously.